Draw a bead on that hiss and blow it to kingdom come. Chuckles, wake up! You gotta get hit before it gets you! Hey, you right? What are you doing?
Yo, what's up guys? Just wanted to shoot a quick internal video going over our packing list for a Milsim West game. If you've gone to one of these games before, maybe you'll pick something up. If you haven't, this should give you a good idea of what to pack and bring for a Milsim West game. Make sure you guys review the tax op that Josh puts out with the bare minimum kit requirements, so you have everything you need to be let onto the game. But hopefully what I can show you today here is some of the learnings we've had from attending a few of these, and hopefully help you guys avoid some of the pitfalls and mistakes that we've made in the past. I know specifically me, I've definitely learned a lot after going to a few of these games, and hopefully take something away from here. Cool, so first thing to take into consideration when planning for this game is your pack. Here I have the Arc'teryx. This is the card 45, so it's a 45 liter bag. A lot of the guys are on 30 liter bags. I would definitely say that this is probably on the high end for the amount of space that you're going to need. Stick to like a 3-day assault bag. The smaller bag you can bring, the better. I've just found in the past, whether it's for camping, whether it's Milsim West, the bigger the bag you have, the more stuff you end up taking, and you end up bringing stuff that you don't need. Plus, it's just extra weight snagging on your back, getting caught on stuff. So, first thing is a bag. Make sure you select a bag. If you don't have a great bag right now, don't worry about going out and spending money on it. Just find something that'll work for you. But this is about the size you'll need for the bag. There's tons of different options. You could probably shoot a whole video on just bag choices, but the Card 45 is a nice bag because it splays open completely into 3 pieces if you want, or you can kind of run it in this configuration and load it top down, which is what we tend to do with that. It's got 2 external pockets on each side and a top pocket on the outside and an interior concealed pocket for some essentials there. So now that we've selected our bag, we got to figure out what goes in it and the best way to load it. There's definitely a lot of different ways to do this, so these are just some tips that I've picked up during a few of these games. Before we get into that, there's just a couple things that you guys want to consider and things to make sure that you avoid. First thing, make sure that we all have sleeping bags. Everybody needs to run a bag for this event. No hammocks, not for the event, and definitely no tents. We want to make this kit as minimal as possible, so we can keep our presence super low profile. Second thing, just when it comes to packing in general, look at everything you have, try to lay it out. I'm going to go through some of the stuff I have on the ground here. Make sure you go through what you have, lay it all out, look at it, figure out if it's absolutely critical that you have it and that you're going to use it. There's certain things that are nice, so I have a Jetboil French press. French press coffee is awesome, but it's not an absolute necessity, and there's smaller ways if you need to bring caffeine to the game. Along the same lines, the Jetboil or MSR, whatever your cooking platform is, before you come to the game, figure out within your squad or unit who has one of these, and you only really need a few of them for a 48-hour game. If you have a new canister of gas, you can probably get by with 3 of these for your group of 12 guys. That way, not every single person has to have one of these in their pack, and you can keep your kit slimmed down and ready to go. The other thing that I just like to do, batteries. Replace all your batteries before the game. It's always good to have extra batteries for everything, but if you replace them right before you walk onto the field, and then maybe have 1 extra battery for each device you have, or a couple extra, lanyard to your gun, you should be good to go. Don't carry a ton of extra stuff in your bag that you're not probably going to need. For the next part of the video, we're going to focus on loading the pack, and we're also just going to, for the sake of the video, assume that you have your full combat kit, your loadout is on, so JPC, gun, sling, helmet, nods, all that stuff is on your person. Now we're just going to focus on the pack. There's a bunch of different ways to load your sleeping bag or sleep system. Some people like to get the Sea to Summit compression bags, and you get them at REI or different any outdoor camping store, and smash your bag down into a nice neat little ball, and put it into your bag. Something that I learned just from following a bunch of guys that do a lot of long-term camping and hunting trips is to just take your bag loose instead of using a compression kit, and load it into your bag first. This is a down bag. It's rated to -28. It's going to pack super small though. By packing it in the bottom of your bag and pressing all the air out of it. The benefit to doing it this way versus a compression sack, if you do the compression sack, it tends to form a tight little ball, and there's pockets of space around your bag. This way you can kind of press all of your gear on top of it, and it fills all the different voids in the bag, and gives you a little bit more space when you get to the top of your bag. So I like to get that loaded in first. It's also, in the scheme of things, kind of the least important thing in order of importance once you're out there and the game gets started. So I like to do that. It's kind of the last thing you're going to need, so I put it the furthest down in the pack. While we're talking about sleeping bags, it's important to find a really nice quality sleeping bag. If you don't have one now, based on the next game we're going to in West Virginia, most bags that you're going to have right now are going to be fine for that, just based on the weather forecast and the temperatures we're looking at. So you'll be good to get through with everything. This is a 3-season bag. It's a bunch of different features. You can spend all day talking about sleeping bags just like any other type of gear, but make sure you have a sleeping bag. The more money you spend, typically, the better the warmth rating you're going to get, the lighter it's going to be, and the smaller it's going to pack down into your kit. So make sure you have a sleeping bag. Like I said, the better the bag you have, the smaller it can get and pack into your gear. Most important thing probably out of everything, sleeping system wise, is your bivy. This is the USGI Gore-Tex bivy. We just looked these out the other day. They're available right now. You can get them on eBay for 44 bucks. Definitely invest in one of these. One, it's going to keep you concealed, but most importantly, it's Gore-Tex. It's going to keep you dry at night. It also adds a whole nother layer of warmth rating, so as you start to get into colder ops that we might hit together, this definitely helps out in keeping you warm. Definitely have slept in this thing and woken up covered in snow. It's nice to have. At night, you can be outside of your sleeping bag and just flip this part over top of your face. So this thin stuff is kind of like jacket material. This is Gore-Tex, and it's enough to keep the bugs out of your face and keep you completely covered. This, what I like to do with, is fold this up. Different ways to do it. You can fold this long ways. This is something where it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to be doing this in-game quickly, and depending on how you load your kit, and depending on the size of your bag, if you have a 3-day assault bag that's on the smaller side, this can be strapped to the side of the bag. It can be, the bottom is probably where I prefer it weight distribution wise. If you have a way to attach it to the bottom, some bungee or some hook and loop to attach it around the bottom. This can go external. It's something that's, it's not going to get scratched up or ruined or anything on the outside of your bag. So something you're going to have to get used to packing, unpacking quickly to get set up. If you're 3 in the morning trying to get rack out, it's good to be able to just get that out quickly in the dark and get it done. Alright, so next, food for the event. What I like to do, and this is something that I learned through time, is be very selective with the meals you're going to pick out. We have, obviously there's Mountain House, O-Meals, Backpackers, there's a bunch of different camp meals. You can get these at REI. I'm sure you can get them on Amazon, different places like that. You want to make sure you bring just the right amount of food for the event. You really only need, you know, if we're doing this event coming up, meal Friday night, potentially. You might be able to even skip on that one if you eat right before we go into the game. You need something early in the morning Saturday, one meal Saturday night, and a breakfast Sunday. That's really all you're going to need, and then just a few snacks, so beef jerky, peanuts, whatever you want, but just make sure you bring just a few of these, just the bare minimum you need to get by. I would definitely recommend trying them beforehand. You don't want to find out in the field what you hate and what you really like. If you can try them out ahead of time, great. If not, pick up just the bare minimum you need. So if this is my breakfast Saturday, dinner Saturday, boom, I just need another breakfast for Saturday morning and some snacks to get through. It's also good to coordinate with the rest of your guys. Everybody doesn't need to bring a ton of snacks. If you can divide that up as well, just like we talked about with the jet boils, that's great. Way to cook your food, jet boil or MSR is the way to go. There's water at these events. I always like to just bring in, starting the game with just one Nalogen bottle of water or a Camel pack, but there'll be water there that you can use to cook. Depending on your bag, the way it's set up, in this bag, this internal pocket right here might be a good spot for that. That way you can get in and out of your bag quickly to set up your sleep system if you're in a hurry or you only have a couple hours of sleep. This way they're out of the way, they're hidden. I like to keep this top pocket, which is able to be accessed quickly, mission essential stuff, and we'll talk about what some of that is, or some comfort stuff. Food, keep separate. One tip on the camp meals, I don't have one available right now with me, but they make a compact version of this that's been vacuum sealed. It's a lot smaller. It's like the size of a baseball versus this. Right before you pack up for this game, you can actually open these. There's still a Ziploc top to these. You can take all the air out of them, roll them up tight, and then throw a little piece of tape around it, and it'll fit a lot smaller space than if it has a bunch of air in it. These are meant, most of these are meant to be dehydrated at 5,000 feet elevation, so they should cook pretty quickly where we're going to be at. I think it's only 2,000 feet. If you're in a hurry too, you can also add water to these while you're running around during the day or while you're on a patrol back of the base, and they'll cook without hot water as well. They just take a little bit longer, so you can have them cook throughout the day. If you don't have an MSR or jet boil, you can still eat them. It's exactly the same. It's just like eating leftovers. Next thing, I have all these different pouches. These are LVT. There's a bunch of different versions of these. The one I like to run, I like to run two of them. I have this Velocity Systems one. This has all my essentials for, toothbrush, deodorant, whatever, contacts, solution, anything like that you need. I like to keep it into one small bag. That way I know I'm not going to overpack. I have this, one of the essentials that goes in there. And then I like to keep myself to just one small bag that I keep everything else in. So I need to repack this from a previous trip, but I have a lighter in there, a couple of these gel packs for snacks, some gum, some water enhancer, and a couple chargers. I'll also throw a portable battery in this bag. This is the one bag I allow myself to fill up with whatever I need to make it through the yacht. So I have these two. These, again, these are non-essential, so I'll kind of tuck these away somewhere hidden. And this card bag, this top pocket, actually drops down deep into the back of it. So I like to stick these in here, kind of out of the way. You still have this whole top space available to pack in here, but these are kind of out of the way hidden. Energy packs, those are good. They pack really light. Throw a couple of those in your shirt pocket, you're good to go for the whole op. It's a nice little snack to have. They're cheap, you can grab those. Caffeine, like I said earlier, the French press, not necessarily practical for that. So 5-hour energies. Those little tablets I had out earlier, caffeine tablets are good. You can just throw those in medic waters that you're given and it helps you save on space. Spoons, gotta have a spoon to eat. I like to keep a small roll of tape on me, keep the weight down, but this will come in handy for certain things. Headlamp, this kind of stuff that I'm going to say you're probably going to access late at night when it's dark. I like to just keep in this top pocket. Spoons I would definitely make silent for movement when I'm packing for the game. It's just showing you where the spot's at. Like to carry a little repair kit in this pack pouch. Where's my pack pouch? So I'll throw a couple extra cylinders in there in case one goes down. This is from a training, so don't really need this many extra. I'll probably take one extra cylinder and the cylinder kit with some extra grease and a hop-up tool. Throw that in there. Depending on how much space I have in my other extra bag, a lot of this stuff might actually just get tossed in there and you're good to go. After that, just a couple other things. I like to have a boonie, so I got an M81 boonie. I'm going to throw this kind of in the top, I guess. At night, this is great to throw on. When it's your turn to nap, sleep, you can throw that on. I like to have that, maybe a beanie depending on the weather. I think for West Virginia will be good. We can get by with just a boonie hat, but it's nice to be able to sleep in that. Get the helmet off, dry that off a little bit. Only other thing I carry extra of, definitely socks. So keep 2 additional pairs of socks somewhere in my kit. One of these side compartments is probably good. Throw this in here. Part of the sleep system. So you have your sleeping bag, your bivvy, and then inside the sleeping bag, I like to have a inflatable pad to sleep on. So this is the Thermarest pad. There's different sizes, just make sure you get the right one for your body height. This is crucial, keeps you off the ground, definitely makes your life more comfortable. You're able to stay a lot warmer at night. The ground gets cold even when it's in the 50s, which I think is what we're targeting for this event. So this is a great choice. There's a ton of different versions of these. Just like the sleeping bag, the higher the cost, the smaller and lighter the weight gets on these. If you don't have one right now, don't sweat it, but you definitely want to have something to sleep on. There's different pads they sell. I think Thermarest also makes a foldable pad you can use. Again, it can be strapped to the bottom of your pad, or sorry, the bottom of your pack right here. So if you get a pad to sleep on, strap it to the bottom of your bag, or in this configuration, this bag, you could strap it along the side here, exterior, and it's just, it's an essential. It's one of the things you have to have if you want to be comfortable at least. I think it's definitely crucial. I have a small inflatable pillow. Again, definitely not mission critical, but it definitely helps you get some rest when you do have a break. So it's nice to have that. Those, again, tuck them away kind of to the side. Other than that, that's all I have. For my bag, I have extra space, so this is just going to get shoved on top of everything in here. Like I said, that sleeping bag just smashes down, so I still have about half this bag left. And that extra space I'm not going to fill up with any extra shit that I don't need. That's the space I'm actually going to use for stowing the helmet if I'm not wearing it. So I'll have the nods inside the airframe inside here, zipped up, and that's the full pack ready to go. I have a jacket in case it rains, and that usually just gets dummy corded down on the back of the pack. And just the last thing I'm going to do after I check everything is just make sure there's nothing rattling, it's super quiet. And yeah, those are the bare minimum requirements that you need, and I think the closer we can all stick to that, the better we're going to be. There's not much else you're going to need for this event besides what I showed you today.
Next time, Chuckles, use the rocket launcher.